So much has been happening in the world non-stop for the last few years that it'd be impossible for South Park to tackle everything. But with last week's episode covering smart toilets, and this week's episode covering ChatGPT, it's clear that Matt and Trey are here for the goofs more than anything. And I think there's been quite a bit of goofiness going on in the world that's begging to be made fun of in the show. We'd be here all day if I covered everything I want to see in South Park. So I narrowed it down to 4 episodes that I think we need to see within the next season or 2. Some more topical than others, I'm sure. I always find videos like these really fun to make, and if you have ideas of your own, topics that I didn't mention in this video, let me know in the comments. This one honestly writes itself, and I hope Matt and Trey take advantage of such a golden opportunity before the year is over, whether that be in season 26 or for this year's Paramount Plus specials. The past February saw a new saga unfold in the world as the United States discovered and shut down multiple UFOs across or around the country, from Alaska to Michigan to Canada. One of these turned out to be a spy balloon from China, but the rest largely remain a mystery. And while there's plenty of reason for concern, there's also reason to crack some jokes. Because within all this political tension is the perfect South Park story, one that serves as a sequel to the season 7 premiere, Cancelled. In Cancelled, the boys realize they're caught in a repeat of the very first episode. Cartman gets an anal probe and summon the aliens for answers, referred to in the show as visitors. However, the boys get abducted and learn that the Earth is actually one big reality TV show in space. All of Earth's species, from the people to the animals, were actually taken from 17 different other planets, brought together for the purpose of intergalactic entertainment, as they're unknowingly documented by other alien species. The head aliens, which definitely aren't an allegory that didn't age well by the show's own standards, explain that after 100 episodes, shows start to decline in quality. So the Earth is better off getting cancelled and destroyed, but luckily the boys are able to blackmail them into letting Earth prosper, in exchange for everyone's memories being wiped. The boys also argue that there's still a lot to look forward to from the worst of humanity. And boy, did it age well, sadly. So where does South Park pick up from this 20 years later? Well, the UFOs. Only one has actually been identified as a Chinese spy balloon, which gives South Park room to fill in the blanks. Have the rest of these UFOs actually be aliens fucking with us, orchestrating further division among countries as they try to bait humanity into causing World War III. Why? Because the show Earth has been dwindling in ratings thanks to the rise of space streaming. Other competitors have either been putting out way more engaging storylines, like Mars or Enceladus, or have been getting cancelled with no leeway. Like Pluto. Yeah, blow up Pluto. So if our crappy planet doesn't pick up the pace soon and start some real beef, that's going to be all she wrote. But obviously, sparking a world war for the sake of entertainment could very well result in the end of the world as we know it. So the boys embark on a new intergalactic adventure to convince their alien overlords to stop poking the bear and let Earth fall apart at our own rate, without the extraterrestrial interference. I just really want to see another Visitor episode, especially now that I'm playing through Stick of Truth for the first time, where they have a pretty surprising role in the story. They aren't hidden in as many episodes as they used to be, and the last time they were relevant in the show itself was Cancelled, and there just hasn't been a more perfect time for them to make a reappearance than now. So one of the biggest requests I've seen people make for a new South Park is for Matt and Trey to take on Andrew Tate. And I think this is an alright idea. Yeah, there's no doubt that Tate has become one of the most controversial figures on the internet over the last year or two. But for some reason, I just can't picture a full-blown episode about him. There's a cursed energy to the idea of him being perfectly replicated in the South Park art style. I find that idea really easy. Like, too easy for South Park. What? Are they going to joke about the Bugatti and him beefing with a 20-year-old? I feel like most jokes about Tate and the persona he presents to the internet have already been made. I think the real goldmine for entertainment isn't with Tate himself, but with online courses like Hustlers University. These lifestyle courses may have been popularized by people like Tate, but they go way beyond him. The real comedy isn't in the glorified mascot, it's in the people who are shelling out $50 a month in the hopes to be like him. Imagine Cartman starting his own online course, promising to make people rich and popular, to turn little soy boys into alphas. Maybe he even uses Butters as the face of the course to really drive the point home. teenagers and adults all over town following the off-the-cuff advice of a literal child with the hopes of becoming the best version of themselves. Only for all the good advice to boil down to common sense, and everything else is just biases and exaggerated statements designed to ramp up engagement. I feel like this kind of approach to the episode is more in line with South Park's storytelling in recent years, and is the kind of setup that really writes itself. It even has a little bit of setup already with how Butters was talking crazy to Bebe in the Worldwide Privacy Tour.
Yeah, everyone likes a guy that's strong and assertive, so I told Baby to go f himself.
Going after Tate directly feels like an episode that would be topical but wouldn't age well, rather than one that would feel like a time capsule. And that boils down to the fact that Tate wasn't the first alpha male influencer, and he won't be the last. Critiquing the niche as a whole feels way more appropriate. What do the following have in common? Depop girlies, DK oldies, and, this is a bit different, but Ticketmaster. Probably that their customers would all say they're overpriced. And they are! The last 3 years has really seen a rise in resale culture, whether that be Depop girlies buying cheap clothes from a thrift store so they can jack up the price and sell it as vintage, or GameCube games costing an arm and a leg, or in the case of a huge company like Ticketmaster, including their own dynamic pricing on things to make a quick buck. The price people are paying for things, especially online, are way more than their actual value. But because it boils down to hobbies or experiences or new clothes, things that on paper we don't really need to survive, it feels like there's nothing that can be done. So I want to at least laugh about it, and I feel like South Park is the perfect show to tackle this subject. Give us a Stan and Wendy adventure as they uncover the identity of a mysterious thrifter in town who's selling cheap clothes and retro games at an insane markup. This would be a great chance to have an episode where all of the kids are involved. Everyone's a suspect. And you can have some crazy twist where the seller is Craig, Clyde, or even Kenny. I know they can cook up something better in a week than I did in 10 seconds, but either way, I feel like an episode on price gouging could have a lot of dumb fun, while also having something to say about the current state of shopping. Last but certainly not least, I think the time has come for a Good Times with Weapons follow-up. I know nothing can top the original episode, but in the 19 years since that episode's premiere, anime has completely blown up in the West, entering the mainstream and pop culture at large. Considering South Park was one of the OGs to make a really good anime parody, I would love to see an episode that explores anime's newfound popularity in an interesting way. Maybe this time we follow the adults as they really get into anime, causing the kids to find it cringe in return. I'd love to see an anime take on Randy. I know the original episode wasn't built off of the kids' interest in anime, and again, it'd be nearly impossible to top the original, but I just know if they were able to really put some time into it, we'd get a banger of an episode. Hell, instead of turning this episode around in a week, give it a few months to cook in the oven, and I could see a world where they get an anime studio to handle all the anime sequences. For now, it's just a pipe dream, but I feel like anime isn't dying down in popularity anytime soon. So they'll have quite some time to make an episode like this a reality. But I'm no professional writer. Yet. These are just some goofy suggestions off the top of my head for episodes I think would be fun to see. And that said, I want to know your thoughts. Drop your own ideas in the comments down below. Or if all my ideas are shit, let me know. It's all engagement. And if you could spare some clout, give us a follow at Roundtable Vids and at Ostrich Thoughts on Twitter and Instagram. If you enjoyed this video, please sure to like and subscribe to the Roundtable for more cartoon content. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. See ya.